Hey guys, this is Whitney, and welcome back to another episode of Spastic Chatter. Spastic Chatter is a platform meant to feature those in the cerebral palsy community, and I get together weekly with individuals with CP, like myself, to have a kind of uncensored chat, if you will, about what it's like living with this type of disability. And for this week, I have Emily, and she wrote in wanting to be on an episode, and to be honest, I've seen her YouTube videos. I wanted to reach out, but I just haven't yet. So she beat me to the punch. So I'll let Emily introduce herself, and then we'll get on to the conversation. So take it away, Emily.
Wow, how do I lead up to that sort of introduction? Hi, my name is Emily. I'm 23 years old. I am from Connecticut, and I have spastic diplegia cerebral palsy, and I was diagnosed when I was 2. And I have a YouTube channel, as was said, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. So, for somebody that hasn't seen your YouTube videos, what kind of content do you post?
My main content is vlog style, so my daily life and what I do day to day. And then sometimes I'll have an idea for a sit down video on a certain topic. I've done things about whether you want to have children with a disability or dating with a disability or things. I've done videos on topics like that. And then sometimes I'll get together with people like yourself, and I'll collaborate on videos and do different things. But the main thing is vlogs.
That's awesome. So what made you want to start getting into vlogs or YouTube?
I've been watching YouTube for a while, but what made me want to start doing it was honestly the fact that I was like, wow, if these other people can do it and they can build a community, then so can I. Because I love to go to my favorite creators, and I love to see the same people commenting in the comment section, and then you get to know them, and then they kind of feel like your friends. So I wanted to build that for people as well. And then I realized, I was there may be someone going through something super similar to me, or the exact same thing, and maybe something that I struggle with they also struggle with, or maybe something that I struggle with they can help me, you know what I mean, be kind of a sounding board, if you will, to figure out life. Because there's no book on how to be a disabled person, and even though you and I both have CP, I'm sure that some things differ. So sometimes when you have somebody else to talk to, it really does help.
That's awesome. And that's kind of why I decided to do a podcast particularly centered around cerebral palsy use, because like I've said many times, there's a bunch of resources out there for children and parents of children with cerebral palsy, but there's not that much out there for adults with cerebral palsy. So that's kind of why I started.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So sorry. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Exactly.
I couldn't agree more. I follow a lot of younger people on Instagram who have cerebral palsy, and I see things like the Napa Center for the intensive therapy in Boston, and those sort of intensive therapy centers. And again, like I said, I'm 23, so I couldn't imagine if something was like that when I was younger. I didn't have that when I was younger. I just had regular office therapy, and to have something like that now, these kids have such a bright future, because yes, you and I are doing great things, but these kids are going to have a little bit easier of a time because they have such access to these amazing resources now that,
not only
you know, I wish there was.
yeah, exactly, but
I'm sorry, go ahead.
not only do they have access to resources, inclusion is so much different in today's times than it was in the 90s. Like when I was growing up, I'm 30, so like inclusion is so much. It's getting to be so much more like better in today's times. I feel like we still have a long way to go, but like compared to the 90s, there's a lot more talk about disability and things like that. So that's where, like, you get what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm kind of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree that we do have a long way to go, but even the Americans with Disabilities Act, it turned 30 earlier this year, and I just think that, you know, if we didn't have it, then, you know, we would be a lot more isolated than we are now. And it's interesting with the whole COVID thing that people are bringing the they're comparing the isolation of COVID to the isolation of being disabled, and I kind of like that, because not that we are isolated, because there is accessibility and there are a few resources, but there still is a long way to go for older people and then just people with disabilities in general.
Yeah, I kind of agree on the whole COVID situation. Like, especially when it comes to jobs, like everybody is like talking about like all these work from home jobs. Where was that? Like people with disabilities have been wanting that for so long, and now that it affects the whole world. Like work from jobs are so like popular now. You know what I mean? Like, where was that before the pandemic? Like for people with disabilities. But yeah,
I know. Yeah, not now. I see. Oh, to bring up social media again, because I love social media. Now I see the work from home as like a whole sort of lifestyle, and I'm just thinking. I'm like, I agree with what you said. It's like, where was that when you know, a couple years ago or whatever? But I'm hoping that even after the pandemic, that it'll stick around a little bit, because we need that, you know.
yeah. I'm a. I have to admit, I do have a work from home job, but I'm one of the lucky ones per se. But let's get back to your YouTube channel. What I know because I have a YouTube channel as well. What kind of, for those interested in like blogging and stuff, what kind of equipment do you use? Because I know that like there's a lot of different like adaptations out there. Do you just use your iPhone like me, or are you fancy? Do you have fancy equipment?
Yeah. I don't use any fancy equipment at all. I use my iPhone as well. Um, you have the camera is the same, if not better, than, you know, any of your regular like cameras. Um, and then for music, I do get my music from Epidemic Sound, because I like adding music into my videos. Um, and that is a service that I pay for, but I think it's worth it for the amount of music and the amount of videos that I make, because I do make one every day. Um, but for a while there, before I found out about that paid service, there was a ton of like copyright-free music on YouTube as well. And like, just, you know, any sort of thumbnail editing app that you need, you know, you can look back at my channel, and some of my thumbnails were really bad, and then they've gotten progressively better as time has gone on. I know people use Canva. I personally use the app called Over. It's yellow and it has a O as the icon. Another app on my iPhone. And yeah, that's basically what I do, because that's the other reason why I wanted to do videos is I wanted to make them not that I didn't want to make them fancy and good, but like I wanted to show like my real life, and sometimes my phone falls on the ground and I have to have somebody get it for me, or things like that. So I just wanted it to be real.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know for me, I've dealt with a lot of like trolls and like hate. Have you dealt with any negative comments, and if so, how did you handle it?
I knock on wood. I've had very few negative comments, but the ones that I do encounter sometimes, they are either coming from one of two places. They're coming from a place that people aren't educated about you, like they've watched one video of yours or listened to one podcast, and they don't really know your whole story. So I mean, that's the chance that you take when you upload something, is you never know who's going to stumble upon it. But the other thing is that when I do get them, number one, it's my space, so I can delete it, which I normally do because I choose to not have to look at it on my channel. And then it also, just because, one hate comment is gonna be canceled out by the 10 other comments that I get, or the other nice messages that I get, or the other connections that I make with people like you collaborating on other things. So it's more about the community than it is like one person who's uneducated, or a troll, if you will, about something that was said in a video, or something that they don't necessarily know anything about you.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said, and I love that you said that the
Mm-hmm.
first thing you said was that you just have to take a risk, and you have to realize that you're posting it on a social platform. So there are going to be the people out there that necessarily don't agree with what you're posting, or are just having a bad day and want to lash out on you. But I love that you are you like you said, you can choose how you respond to it. You can do like you do and just delete the comment. And I love how you said you were gonna how you can educate people. Um. So I think
Yeah. There's sorry. There's some points that, like, if somebody is like, oh, why do you use the wheelchair like that, or why does your space look different than say somebody else's, or whatever, or like sometimes I educate them and I say, well, I have to put things all in an area that I can reach, or then I need to ask somebody every 5 seconds to get something, you know what I mean? But if they're not coming from a point of wanting to be educated, then I will just delete the comment, because I don't need to see that in my space.
exactly. So at the end of each interview, I always ask my guest if they have any advice for other people that are like maybe in this similar situation. So if somebody wanted to create a YouTube channel and put their life out there for others to watch, what advice would you give them?
Oh, that's a good question. I would just say to honestly just do it. Just start. Whether you want to make an Instagram or you want to make a YouTube channel, just do it, because, like I said in the beginning, there's somebody who's going to relate to your situation and who's going to be going through the same trials and situations that you are. And, you know, if you're looking for community, what a better way to start now when we really can't go anywhere and do anything. You know, it's not like we can meet up with each other or anything. So it's a really great way to build community, and it does take a while because I've been doing mine for 5 years now, but it's worth it in the end. And it's definitely something that I couldn't imagine my life without now. And honestly, always just reach out to your fellow creator. I'm always down to answer questions, and I'm sure many people are. Some people aren't, but I'm down to share the tips that I've learned. And, you know, just don't be afraid to hit that publish button, because you don't know whose life you could be changing along the way.
Awesome. That's some great advice. So, where can people follow you on social media and your YouTube channel, your everything? Where can people follow you?
My YouTube channel is youtube.com/Emily's Life on Wheels, and my Instagram is instagram.com/Emily's Life on Wheels as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. I will put that in the description so people can check you out. And
Thank you. Can I share your link in my video as well?
Yes, totally. And thank you for reaching out and wanting to be on an episode of Spastic Chatter. I really enjoyed talking with you, and now I'm gonna follow you on YouTube and keep up with you. So, for those of you,
Thank you.
Yeah. For those of you watching, and if you want to be on an episode of Spastic Chatter, there's always a link in the description, or you can comment wherever you see this video. And again, thank you, Emily. And check back next week for another episode of Spastic Chatter. Thanks. Bye.